Hi, welcome to Car Mechanical, and today I'm going to show you how to replace your boot on your Porsche 924, and you can swap and upgrade it to one with a spoiler. So to start with, what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to open the boot up. You may need to prop it up depending on how old it is. Move the boot cover tray out of the way. So we're just going to unhook that and push that back. And then we're going to get in there and we're going to start to unbolt things. So this is being done on my 1984 Porsche 924. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect these electrical connectors for the rear screen. They're the heated elements, so we're going to disconnect those on either side. So we're going to do the passenger side and I'm going to do the driver side. We're not going to disconnect the struts just yet. We're going to come back to that in a bit. But what we're going to then move on to is starting to disconnect all of the wiring and everything. And to get to that wiring, what we need to do is take off some of this side trim. So you can see the rear wiring, it just kind of runs down this rear panel. So we're going to undo this screw here. So it's a crosshead screw or posi head. So once that's come out, we then need to take this cap off here, flick that out of the way. If you can catch it, great. If not, just make sure you go somewhere safe. Remove this screw. That will then give you access to sort of the side where you're going to feed everything out from. What we're going to do next after this is we're going to take out these little pop holders. And you can get a screwdriver behind them and they'll flick right out, and you'll see this one fly across the screen. So take each of these out, and then once those are out, you can get behind the carpet and you can disconnect this connector. We then need to follow the ground cable around to the grounding point right at the rear. So there's some other little pop connectors. Now unfortunately I didn't film taking these off, but they literally just pull off by hand. So once we follow this round, we get to these other ground wires and we're going to need to disconnect them. So we're going to undo this bolt here. Once we've taken that bolt off, we'll take off the ground that we no longer need, feed it back round, and then we can pull everything through in a moment. So before we pull it round, we need to undo this little fastener here, so you can manoeuvre it out with a screwdriver. It's just a rubber clip. So you can then pull the ground cable round. You'll need to work it around some of the bits and pieces, the rear washer pump there, I think that is, and just lift up the carpet and you can see where it runs to, and you can then pull it through. Now it's worth noting the one I've got here has got the clip on the end of it to be screwed in, but the new one doesn't. So when we do refit it, I won't be putting the new clip on just yet because I need to get hold of that in my toolkit somewhere. Okay, so this will just pull through, so you pull the connection and the ground. So we're now at the point that we can remove the boot struts. So what we're going to do is make sure the boot's supported and use a small tool or flat bladed screwdriver to push back those holding tabs or retention tabs on the board, and then you can just hit the joint off. We're going to do that for the other side, and we're then going to head into the car as well. Now obviously whilst you were working on the boot, make sure that it was held up. So what I'm now removing inside the car are the plastic trim covers for the boot hinge bolts. So these look, I think they're a 6mm hex fitted when we undo them. So we're going to undo those either side. Lucky thing with the boot here is now the boot's actually closed for doing this, obviously. They undo nice and easily, so you can just undo that with your socket set. And you can see how they undo from the outside. So it's just 4 bolts and then the boot luckily can be lifted off. So this is a nice quick easy part of the job. And once this is done, we can move across and we can take the boot off. So at this point we've made sure that we've undone all the wiring, we've taken the bolts out, and then we can lift everything straight out. So taking a final look at the boot there, that's how it is in its stock form. Obviously it's seen some better days. Now you can lift this off by yourself, it's not too heavy, but it's always easier with a friend. So we're going to take this off and move it to one side. And obviously to release it you may just need to release the boot as well. And once we've got that moved to one side, we can go and get the new one to put that in place. So the new one is heavier, that's the first thing I want to comment on. So one thing I'm going to find issue with is that the struts don't hold it as well. But the way that this boot's set up, it's a real nice easy fit because it goes into hinge spots and it goes into the boot catch area. So it all fits in nice and easily, so there's not much lining up that you need to do. Now the install is completely the opposite of removing it, so luckily we've been through that already, but I'm going to go over it all again. So we're going to put the 2 bolts either side of the hinges of the boot panel here, and we're then going to attach the boot struts so they pop on and you can then push in the plastic, or if the plastic's a bit stubborn like I find on the other side, you can just use something to whack it in gently. Probably should use a rubber hammer. I'll just use the back side of a screwdriver. So these struts, they fit straight over the ball joint. Again, you push them into place. It might take a little bit of manoeuvring, and then you just pop down to tap. So you can see the boot's being held up now, but not by much. Future repair for me will be to replace the struts. So we're going to put these tabs on for the heated rear windscreen. Now I find I've got two on one side because I've got spares with the new one. I'm going to remove that. You just put these tabs into place and you're done and dusted there. So we're now back down to the wiring. So I've not got the clip on the end of this wire, so I'm going to feed it down. And I'm actually struggling to get it down the panel and to be able to pull it out by hand. So what I do off camera, I tie a washer around it. And with the washer around it, that's magnetic, so I use a long magnetic pole I've got here just to pull it through. So you can do the same. It's a nice easy little hack there. Or if you've got a long piece of coat hanger or something that you could feed through and wrap it around and pull back over, that will work too. Right, so we've got the wire in. We need to feed through the connector wire as well. So you feed that and pull that down, and then you're going to push the wire into its place. And in theory, it should go into place and clip in nice and tightly. But this car's over 30 years old and so is the rubber, so it's not as tight as it used to be. Right, so then clip the connector back together here and feed your ground around and then reconnect it at the terminal point. I'm not doing it now because of the issues that I had with the wire being cut. So we can then put the carpet back into place. The pop connectors will just go in. Make sure you've not misplaced those earlier. I'm probably going to replace mine in the future because they're not great and I think I could probably get better colour coding. But anyway, just pop all of the carpet pop connectors back in. And then once you're done with that, we're going to put these screws in over here as well to tighten up the trim. We probably didn't need to undo this trim earlier. I'm not entirely sure for the side one, but it did just give better access for the whole thing. I think it probably let the carpet move to one side easier as well. So we put the screw in place, then we put the big plastic screw which pulls the trim in. It's meant to hook on up top. I think I need to do something there in the future. As you can see from the inside of the car, there's a lot of trim work to be sorted out. So we're going to put the plastic covers back in place as well. Not so much for neatening the car up, just for making sure that things are where they should be at the moment. I think I'm going to have to fully redo the interior. You'll see that in future videos or however I decide to deal with it, because as you can see there's electrical tape everywhere. So we've got a couple more bits to finish bolting up and then we'll be done. So there's the other screw around the other side here, and that's got a little cap cover that goes onto it. And the bit I didn't show you earlier on was me unclipping the carpet. Well, I can show that being clipped back up. And these are just little pop clips. Now before we pop that on, I'll show you the ground cable. So it's not got a terminal clip on the end of it or like a ring connector. So I need to add one of those when I can find it in my toolkit. But it's literally crimp it onto the end or solder it on and crimp it and then place that in under the bolt. So these little carpet bits, they pop into place. They can be very, very stiff. You'll see me struggle with one of these. They don't come off too often and they're probably being compressed down from previous attempts at doing so. So some of them go on easily and some don't. Also I found that the carpet was at different levels of stretch, so you have to do it in particular order. We'll see if this carpet stays. It's probably going to be quite expensive to get hold of a new one, so best bet this carpet will come out and get an incredible clean, maybe a re-dye or something like that. So once that last connector is wrestled with, you are done with the boot. So let's have a look at it. So I paid £16 for the boot, which isn't too bad really, because I'll probably be able to sell the old one for that. The new boot also looks like the window motor is in a better way, so the wiper arm's not hanging down. But visually it improves the car quite a lot, and the car looks nice and glossy and shiny here. It's because I've cleaned it, and it's how I think the paint will look after it's had a polish and remove some of the oxidization. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. Please leave any comments in the comment section down below. There are going to be a lot more Porsche videos coming out over the next couple of months. Also feel free to share this video with anyone you think would enjoy it. And until next time guys, thank you for watching.